Inside a sterile, brightly lit high-tech laboratory, the hum of machinery fills the air. A lone cyborg stands before a test table, her presence commanding and precise. With focused intent, she reaches for a syringe, her metallic fingers gleaming. Next, she grasps a vial, its label marked with a stark coronavirus drawing. Her movements are efficient, each action deliberate and without hesitation. The scene is a silent ballet of technology and intent, the fate of the world hanging in the balance. In the high-tech lab, the cyborg meticulously prepares the vaccine, her movements precise and deliberate. She carefully draws the clear liquid from the vial into the sterile syringe. A healthy laboratory mouse scurries on the test table, unaware of the impending injection. With a steady hand, the cyborg injects the mouse, her expression unreadable. The mouse twitches slightly, then resumes its activity, the fate of the experiment hanging in the balance. On the cold lab table, the mouse lies defeated, its body ravaged by lumps, ulcers, and the cruel absence of teeth. With a final, desperate shudder, it collapses, utterly spent, a stark testament to unseen horrors. The cyborg lifts the creature by its tail, holding it aloft, her gaze devoid of pity or remorse. Laser scans mouse, cyborg's face a mask.
Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you are all doing well. I'm great, and my name is Marcio. You are on the Família de Yauh channel. Today, in RoboTalk episode number 5, episode number 12 of our podcast series, we bring you another brilliant analysis of a very important study from South Korea. This study sheds light on a restricted population in one country, but one that can be perfectly reproducible in countries with higher rates of vaccination against the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And for those who trust only peer-reviewed studies with significantly large populations, here's a little secret. It has both of those characteristics. Its peer-reviewed and studied population is over 8 million. The little story that started the video might, and only a very categorical might, reflect in the lab rat scenario what happened to a portion of the South Korean population, specifically the 27% overall increase in cancer. In the injected population studied during the vaccination period. In other words, a product without safety guarantees, applied on a large scale, showed alarming results that we will discuss below with our already well-known partner in artificial intelligence analysis, Sirius. If you don't know her yet, click on the card above, right? Which will direct you to the latest scientific video in which she brilliantly participated. It's important to remember that, although this dramatization refers to this shocking data from specific population, these results may potentially not reproduce the global population. And for this to be corroborated and extrapolated to a global scale, more studies must be conducted in this regard. And if you want to make videos like this or use artificial intelligence to optimize your work in terms of creating virtual human audio or lip sensing with narration produced through text, as in the case of my creation with Cyrus, as well as many other audio creations with artificial intelligence, then don't waste time. Click on the link in the video description to get more information and start making your audios and videos with the best AI that deals with audio, ElevenLabs. But click on the link specifically to help the channel if you are interested in this wonderful technology. Without any further ado, let's get to the analysis.
The latest research on COVID-19 vaccines just revealed something completely unexpected. A massive South Korean study found significant links between vaccination and 6 different types of cancer. But here's where it gets really interesting.
That's quite a bombshell from such a large-scale study. What exactly were they looking at?
Well, they analyzed data from over 8 million people between 2021 and 2023, and what they found was pretty striking. The vaccinated group showed increased risks for several cancers. Thyroid cancer went up 35%, gastric cancer 34%, and prostate cancer showed the highest increase at 69%.
But we should probably emphasize that correlation doesn't automatically mean causation, right?
That's exactly right. And what makes this even more fascinating is how the risks varied depending on the type of vaccine. The cDNA vaccines showed different patterns compared to mRNA vaccines, and when people mixed vaccine types, they saw yet another distinct risk profile.
Could you break down those differences? I'm particularly interested in how the various vaccine types affected different populations.
So here's where it gets really interesting. The cDNA vaccines were linked to 5 different cancers: thyroid, gastric, colorectal, lung, and prostate. The mRNA vaccines showed a different pattern with 4 types: thyroid, colorectal, lung, and breast. But, and this is crucial, when people mixed vaccines, they only saw increased risks for thyroid and breast cancers.
You know what's fascinating about this? The way the risks seem to vary so dramatically by age and gender.
Oh yeah, the demographic patterns were really striking. People under 65 showed higher vulnerability to thyroid and breast cancers, while the over 75 group had notably higher risks for prostate cancer. And when it comes to gender, men were more vulnerable to gastric and lung cancers, while women showed higher risks for thyroid and colorectal cancers.
What about the boosters shots? I understand they found some unexpected patterns there too.
Well, that's another layer that makes this study so compelling. The booster doses specifically affected the risks of gastric and pancreatic cancers. In fact, the researchers emphasized that doctors should pay special attention to monitoring gastric cancer risk in patients getting boosters.
The methodology seems pretty robust. How did they ensure they were making fair comparisons?
So they use this sophisticated matching technique called propensity score matching. Starting with their huge data set of 8.4 million people, they carefully matched individuals to create comparable groups. They ended up with about 595,000 vaccinated individuals, matched against 2.38 million unvaccinated ones, which gives their findings some serious statistical weight.
Looking at the broader implications, how might these affect public health policies going forward?
You know, that's the million-dollar question. The researchers suggest we might need to develop more targeted vaccination strategies based on individual risk factors. But they're being appropriately cautious. They want to see more research to understand the underlying mechanisms, particularly around vaccine-induced inflammation.
So what's the key takeaway for healthcare providers and patients right now?
Well, I think it's about finding that balance between the proven benefits of COVID-19 vaccination and these potential risks. Different populations might need different monitoring approaches, younger women might need more careful screening for thyroid and breast cancer, while older men might need more attention paid to prostate cancer risk. But these are preliminary findings that need more verification before we make any dramatic changes to current practices.
Sounds like we're just at the beginning of understanding these long-term effects.
That's right. And while this study is groundbreaking in its scale and methodology, it's really just opening the door to a whole new set of questions about vaccine safety and personalized medicine. The next few years of research in this area are going to be absolutely crucial.
Yes. All right, everyone. Now let's illustrate with some slides that summary of the most important points of this very well done and important research. So let's summarize it then. Number one here. Well, the first slide. Art showing didactically each of the types of cancer and their increases in the studied population in relation to the specific types of COVID shots. Credits to Nicholas Haschler for the approach. Here we see lung, thyroid, breast, prostate, and gastric and colorectal. Lung, for example, we had the overall cancer increased by 53%, thyroid by 35%, breast 20%, prostate incredible 69%, gastric about 34%, colorectal about 28%. mRNA vaccines had an overall cancer of 20%. DNA vaccines, overall cancer of 47%. Heterologous overall cancer of 34%. The second image by Cyrus shows the overall risk quantification. That was about 27%. Greater cancer risk for DNA vaccines, Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca. RNA vaccines, a little less, as you see here in the graphic, and a mixture of brands showed a little more. Now there's a graphic that sort of summarizes their findings in a very unpleasant view. It is so what we have here is this vaccinated line here. So people that are vaccinated that get more cancers. These incidents per 10,000 of the population up here. People that didn't get vaccines after a follow-up of 360 days. So that's 3,600 days. Well, there is much lower, isn't it? And the difference is about 27% between the two overall. So a clear increase in cancers. This is overall cancers. And the results of this is a P equals 0.001. In other words, there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that this result arose by chance. So this is overwhelmingly likely to be a genuine result. So here, large-scale population-based retrospective study in South Korea. It was made to estimate the cumulative incidence and subsequent risks of overall cancers 1 year after COVID-19 vaccination. The data N was equal 8,407,849 between 2021 and 2023. The data was obtained by the Korean National Health Insurance Database, and the participants were categorized into 2 groups based on their COVID-19 vaccination status. The cancers were significantly increased 1 year post-vaccination. Thyroid hazard ratio was 1.351. That means increase of 35%. Gastric, 33%. Colorectal, 28%. Lung, 53%. Breast, 19%. And prostate is the last one here. 68%. It's very huge. CDA vaccines were associated with the increased risks of thyroid, gastric, colorectal, lung, and prostate cancers. mRNA vaccines were linked to the increased risks of thyroid, colorectal, lung, breast cancers. Heterologous vaccination was related to the increased risks of thyroid and breast cancers. The observed associations between COVID-19 vaccination and cancer incidence. Vaccinated men were more vulnerable to gastric and lung cancers. Vaccinated women were more susceptible to thyroid and colorectal cancers. Population under 65 more vulnerable to thyroid and breast cancers. Population over 75 more susceptible to prostate cancer. COVID-19 vaccination-associated cancer risk was likely more elevated among individuals aged under 65, an exception for prostate cancer. The booster doses. They found gastric and pancreatic cancers more. The mechanisms from the paper: renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, mutagenicity, inflammatory cascade, and underlying molecular mechanisms. That's it, folks. I hope I was clear in explaining the data. If you like this content, show it by supporting the channel by giving your like, sharing, and hitting the bell to receive notifications about more content like this. This way you will be signaling YouTube that this content is relevant, and the video will then have a wider reach, which will let me know that it will be good for me to continue this journey of interactivity with artificial intelligence to spread good science to the audience that accesses this channel. So, until next episode, bye.